Hello and welcome to Movie Recap. Today I am going to recap action-adventure drama movie Apocalypto. 2,000 years ago, a group of men were captured and forced to participate in a real survival game, and one of them is going to take revenge for what happened to his village. This is a movie apocalypse, and it will not leave you indifferent. In the year 1510, Yucatan Peninsula, a group of forest Mayan hunters led by a chief named Stone Sky are hunting for a wild tapir using net traps. They lure the animal into a trap and pierce its body with sharpened wooden spears. Approaching the animal, screaming in pain, Jaguar Paw takes its life. As the son of the leader, the guy divides the booty between the hunters and gives the eggs of the tapir to the blunt end since he is the only one who does not have children. The hunter decides to taste the unpleasant product but soon realizes that this is a cruel joke. What the hell is he eating? He attacks Jaguar Paw to sort things out, but Stone Sky intervenes. The chief comforts Blunt End and gives him a leaf of a special flower that will solve the problem and help him have children. A little later, they hear that they are alone in the forest and ask those who are hiding in the bushes to come out. The hunters encounter a group of frightened refugees asking permission to peacefully pass by them. Stone Sky allows them to pass through his forest and gives them a share of the booty in exchange for a generous gift of fresh fish. Upon learning that the lands of the refugees were devastated and they were looking for a new home, Jaguar Paw wanted to follow them to ask for details. Stone Sky stops his son because he doesn't want him to become infected with the animal fear of the refugees. Upon returning to the village, Jaguar Paw spends time with his son, Turtle Run, and his pregnant wife, Seven. The mother-in-law gets Blunt End to finally get down to business and give her grandchildren. The man obediently goes to his wife, but a little later, he flies out of his house like a bullet. Naively, he listened to the leader and used the sacred leaf, but it turned out that he really burns his little boy, having become a laughing stock of all, Blunt End. In the morning, Jaguar Paw wakes up from a terrible dream in which he sees the leader of a runaway tribe with a heart in his hands. He hears that at some point the barking of the dog stops and understands where this leads. The village is attacked by a group of human hunters and starts burning down their houses. The Stone Sky tribe is not ready for battle and suffers a crushing defeat. Jaguar Paw realizes that they are powerless to resist and hides his pregnant wife and son in a deep sanctuary by lowering them down a rope. He is spotted by one of the attackers and sees his family, so Jaguar Paw takes his life. Returning to the others, he saves his father and engages in a duel with the Middle Eye, nearly killing the enemy with his own knife. The head of the attackers, Hollow Wolf, captures Jaguar Paw and prevents Middle Eye from taking revenge on the victorious warrior. Upon learning that Stone Sky is the guy's father, the offended Middle Eye takes revenge on him and sends the leader to the next world. Before leaving this world, Stone Sky asks his son not to be afraid, but he gets hit in the face and passes out, receiving a new nickname. Sometime later, Jaguar Paw comes to his senses and sees that his village has been devastated, and all those who resisted have been eliminated. The remaining survivors will be captured by human hunters, preparing to leave these lands. The guy cautiously looks to see if his wife and child are among the captives, and realizes that Seven and the running turtle are still hiding in a deep hole. One of the enemies notices his gaze and sees the rope. After throwing a stone and examining the hole, the manhunter cuts the rope so that no one can get out of it. Along the way, the hunters pick up some of the refugee tribesmen in the forest that Jaguar Paw had seen earlier. The children chase the group but stay by the river and find themselves forced to learn to live without adults, taking care of each other. Meanwhile, Seven treats their son's wound and realizes that Jaguar Paw is the only one who can find them and pull them out of this hole. At some point, the wounded prisoner falls off the path into a cliff and drags others along, but Blunt End and Jaguar Paw manage to bring him back. The Middle Eye watches this but does not intervene, hoping that the warrior who shamed him will die. Once the bonded group rescues the wounded, Middle Eye disposes of him by throwing the man off a cliff. In the evening, the group stops for the night, and Dumban says that he will take with him to the next world as many enemies as possible to avenge his dead wife. In the morning, the manhunters continue to lead the captives to the city of Stone, where the ground bleeds and nearly falls victim to a fallen tree. Here, they meet a girl, the only survivor from the settlement affected by the epidemic. The baby asks for help, but the soldiers push her away with a stick and are afraid to approach the infectious child. Before the group leaves, she foretells the doom of their world and warns them to be afraid of the darkness of the day and the man living with the jaguar. The girl warns that this man is already with them, but the hunters do not believe her words. Closer to dinner, the captives are brought to the Mayan city where the empty wolf and his son sell the captive girls and women. Here, they are an affordable product that anyone can purchase for just a couple of coins, turning any beauty into their slave, servant, or wife. The last lot is Blunt End's mother-in-law, but everyone thinks she's too old and refuses to buy, realizing that there is no client ready to give at least something for her. The elderly woman is released. Meanwhile, the men are smeared with some strange blue liquid and taken away. Paying attention to the walls, the captive hunters see terrible drawings depicting blue men who are beheaded and sacrificed to the gods. Having passed the tunnel, the captured hunters of the forest tribe see the pyramids around which crowds of city dwellers have gathered. Noticing the heads on the spears, Jaguar Paw and the others realize that they will be the next victims and may lose their heads any minute. Once at the top of the central pyramid, the hollow wolf draws his blood and hands the captives over to the head priest. The elder of the city recalls that now there is a drought, and their land has lost its former fertility. They will sacrifice captives to the god Kukulkan and, having satisfied his requests, will solve this problem, restoring their former greatness. The head priest takes the lives of 2 men from the forest tribe to begin with. He cuts open their chests and takes out their still-beating hearts, which are then cooked on the coals. Then he decapitates them and throws them down the steps of the pyramid. The crowd cheers and gleefully accepts this, trying to catch the blood-splattering prey. The bodies of the sacrificed hunters are sent after the heads. It's Jaguar Paw's turn, and Blunt End says goodbye to him. The son of the late leader is not ready to say goodbye to life, as his hour has not yet come, and Seven and the running turtle are waiting for him in the cave. As soon as Jaguar Paw is in place for sacrifice, a solar eclipse begins, which frightens the locals and causes them superstitious horror. The high priest calms the crowd and reports that Kukulkan is pleased. A couple of minutes later, the god returns the sun to them, which causes religious delight in people. The hollow wolf asks what to do with the rest of the captives, and the priest allows them to get rid of them in any convenient way. The manhunters decide to make some fun out of it and take the forest dwellers to the field nearby, where corn thickets stand, behind which is the jungle and the home of Jaguar Paw and his brethren. The son of the hollow wolf takes a club and goes into the field to finish off the wounded fugitives and save them from torment. The middle eye unties the captives' hands and orders them to flee in pairs. The human hunters use them as living targets and try to take the lives of the men using stones, spears, arrows, and other weapons for this. In the first pair, Blunt End runs, but he is unlucky and gets pierced by a spear. The hollow wolf's son finishes him and his second clan mate. Afterward, Middle Eye informs Jaguar Paw that it is now his turn. Using a chaotic run, the guy avoids hits, but soon the empty wolf launches an arrow at him and injures Jaguar Paw. The son of the human hunter decides to finish off the wounded, but Jaguar Paw's tribesman diverts his attention to himself and sacrifices himself to save his comrade. As soon as the son of the hollow wolf approaches Jaguar Paw, he plunges a piece of arrow into his neck and runs into the cornfield. The head of the human hunter says goodbye to his son, who left this world. Afterward, he rushes in pursuit of the fugitive with 8 warriors. The wounded Jaguar Paw runs to the jungle and hides in one of the trees. The hunters run past and do not notice the drops of blood that have fallen on the back of one of them. Meanwhile, the guy meets a little melanistic jaguar and its evil mother. The hunters find blood stains and realize that the guy is hiding in the trees, after which they return back. Jaguar Paw runs away from a wild animal, but a slower hunter who tries to catch the guy becomes his victim. A tribe of hunters takes the life of a wild cat and begins to believe in the predictions of a girl from the village. Some do not want to continue the chase, but the hollow wolf demands that they do not give in to fear. At night, Seven and her son are attacked by a wounded animal that has fallen into a pit, but Jaguar Paw's pregnant wife takes its life. In the morning, another hunter becomes a victim of a snake and finishes himself off to avoid pain and suffering. They soon follow Jaguar Paw's trail and drive him up a waterfall. The guy is not afraid and jumps down, realizing that he was in his own jungle. Remembering the words of his late father, he promises to fight with dignity so that his son becomes the same great hunter. One of the hollow wolf's men suggests not to follow the guy, but the leader immediately takes his life and forces his subordinates to jump down after a rapid descent. Not everyone survives. Meanwhile, Jaguar Paw falls into a viscous swamp. Having miraculously got out of it, the guy finds a hive and throws it at his pursuers. While Jaguar Paw sets up a trap and prepares poison needles, his wife tries to get out of the hole. After getting rid of another hunter, Jaguar Paw engages the middle eye and takes the life of the man who left him without a father. Tropical rain begins, and the guy realizes that he needs to hurry as the pit will soon be flooded. While Jaguar Paw traps the hollow wolf in a taper trap and disposes of him, Seven gives birth to another boy. Two pursuers overtake the fugitive on the seashore and see a squadron of Spanish ships. The hunters go to the boats of the expedition of the conquistador Hernandez to Cordoba, and Jaguar Paw returns to the village to save his family. Later, Seven sees the ships and asks if they will go to them, but the husband says that his wife and children will find a new life in the jungle. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.